Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward, you guys. Today is absolutely no different. Today, I want to speak to something. I know I had uploaded something onto my social media apps, both Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, surrounding all of this rain we've gotten over the last day or so. It was a tremendous amount of rain that fell in Southern California yesterday, and it's said to be continuing in this rainy period for over a week to come. So we will be experiencing more rainfall. And what I noticed yesterday was that the skies had gotten really, really dark with this thick cloud, gray cloud, dark clouds in the sky. It everywhere you looked, it was just like this sheet of cloud. You know, sometimes when you look in the sky, you'll see really, really white clouds broken up into like pillowy portions in the sky. But yesterday, it was just a huge blanket, like a one whole cloud covering the entirety of the sky, and it made the environment look very restricted. It looked very confining. And so it made me think, when we were driving on the freeway, my daughter and I, of the flood. Now, that's how it started off, just a little rain while we were driving, and it progressively got worse as we continued on the freeway. But when it first started to trickle down and become really strong, I told my daughter, I was using the Bible as an example. I was like, could you imagine what it was like during the flood? If this is bad, could you imagine what the flood was like? And she and I were going back and forth on what she interpreted from the flood, because she goes to a Catholic school, and so they talk about these things in school, and so she's privy to them. And then she and I, being my daughter, even though she does not like to engage in such conversations with me in her free time, I wish she did, but she doesn't. But just by default, hearing me when I speak, and just in general conversations with me, she knows of the story of the flood. And we began talking, and the more I drove, the stronger the rain came down. And the rain was so strong. It's not that I've never been in that type of weather. I lived in the South for a very long period of time, so I'm familiar with heavy rainfall. But for Southern California, it was a big deal. I mean, the rain was just coming down. I couldn't even see the front of the vehicle or any cars in front of me. But I'm a professional driver. I've driven trucks, so I know how to drive in all kinds of weather. And it wasn't a big deal. But really what I want to hammer in is the fact that after the rain settled, there was this cloud over the entirety of the sky. The sky wasn't blue. It wasn't that refreshing blueness that we look at when we wake up and we feel like we can go about our day in a positive way. It was this cast over the sky. And this is what brings me to the conversation that I have for you today. While I was driving, my mind began to wander as to the methods in which God looks to get our attention. And it brought me back to the flood. And after speaking to my daughter about it, I tilled it in the soil of my mind. And the people that were in the flood, all those that experienced the flood, they knew that there was going to be a flood. It was a rumor of this flood going around prior to the flood actually happening. And God was very patient with all the people to give them time to turn from their ways so that they could not experience such a catastrophe. But they thought that it was a joke. They thought, oh, it's not going to be a big deal. We'll get around it. Oh, we can depend on our own relationships with nature, because that's exactly what's going to bring the flood on, friend. It's not going to be a being that God is going to bring out of the deep that we've never seen, and it's going to inflict this flood. It's going to be a method of operation that we've all been accustomed to. We've all seen rainfall. We've all seen the oceans swell up and tsunamis and all that type of stuff. It's going to be something we've become accustomed to. It's not going to be anything new, but it's going to be an extreme effect of something that we have become accustomed to. This was the flood. They never seen rainfall like that. They never saw water come from the ocean in such power and force. They never felt the earth shake in such a way amongst all these other natural things happening at one time. And what yesterday showed me was that it was not just the physical effects of the flood that really did these people in. It was a horrendous event. It was the psychological aspects of it all while they were in it. These people are looking at the sky, and the sky has turned an ominous color. It's no longer blue and pristine, and you feel like there's hope and there's optimism, and the sun is going to come out as soon as the cloud just moves away. Now you're looking at something completely different, something foreign, something that when you look at it, you know it's not good. This is not a good thing. And they are, at that moment, caused, each one of them, independent of one another, to go within. They are all caused by way of the natural occurrences that God inflicted upon them by way of nature. And in them viewing what is upon them, they are forced to go within. And when they go within, they're going within to find some way of justifying getting beyond it. Okay, how long is this going to last? Will God save us from this? Are we worthy of God's saving? Can God justify creating us? Have we, each one of us, stood in our creation even a little bit to justify God allowing what looks like a very bad situation to turn and go away? Will it? Or do we our own selves know that we don't deserve it to turn and go away? That we need to get down and beg? This is why the people came to the ark and were banging on the ark. They're banging to get let in. Please let me in. I changed my mind. I don't want to do this no more. I see the truth of this now, but it's too late. That is the story of the ark. It was the people seeing themselves by way of what God would do through nature. But that's how God works. Many of us have this fantasy going on here that somebody needs to break. You need to snap out of it. All the things you do for comfort, and there's nothing wrong with comfort. I just uploaded a video of a yacht. I love yachts. I'm telling you. I'm deserving to spend an inordinate amount of time on a yacht. It's aligned to my creation. Yet, it meets me where I'm at, spiritually and emotionally and mentally. But it's not a yacht that will make me feel this way. I align to it because I'm already there. And that yacht lifestyle or that physical manifestation of such a thing can express itself in a myriad of different ways. It doesn't have to be a yacht. But the yacht for me is a physical manifestation of it. The spiritual manifestation of it is the way I align to God. The way I partake at that level of that magnitude. I'm partaking at that level and at that magnitude spiritually from the goodness of God. So my words meet me where I'm at. My words meet me at that spiritual level. Thus, that physical manifestation meets me at that level. I'm going to make this make sense to you. I'm sure it already is. What I got from yesterday while viewing this natural occurrence that happens all the time was that God uses nature to spawn internal dialogue between us and the truest aspect of ourselves. It is in the frightening times of our lives, the chaotic times, the times of confusion, that we go inward. And we look for answers within ourselves. These answers come a lot of times through us searching the library of content that we have regarding our experiences of life. That internal library that we have within our hearts and minds that tell us truthfully what we were doing in our lives. Not what we've shown to the world and what our explanations are and how we package them up and sell them to other people so that we're accepted and we have friends and people support us in our wickedness or in our manipulations or even in our truths. But the real raw combustible material that we use to fuel us moving forward. They designate how we walk the paths of life. Do we walk the paths of life with honesty or in integrity because we are pulling from fuel that is righteous? Or are we walking the paths of life with deception, manipulations, lies, distortions? Because the fuel that we're using is not supportive of those other things. And we got to take it how we've got to get it so that we can continue on in life. These are the things that happen when we go inward and we check ourselves and we look to see what type of energy do I have that I'm pulling from? And can this energy be acceptable in the sight of God when it matters? Because friends, I'm here to tell you, God is not a micromanager of people. God is a step back kind of God. Most of our lives are filled with acquiring experiences without God stepping in and testing us. Most of the time, we're not being tested. We accrue a tremendous amount of experiences without being tested. And then we get to a junction in life where we are tested. And God does like maybe what he did yesterday with the rain and we become concerned, or any other, it could be a health issue that comes upon us and we become concerned and we're faced with our mortality right here. And what we pull from to justify a favor from God or justify the sun coming out tomorrow, like we always say when it rains, the sun is going to come out tomorrow. Well, the hope that we have in that sun coming out and changing this drastic, ominous situation to a sunshiny day is all based upon the actions that we've had in our lives that will justify such things. Have you had enough activity in your life to justify the sun coming out tomorrow for you? Because only you can face it. And there's nowhere to run to. And there's nowhere to hide. It's you and you. It's you and God. And you will use the vehicle of your imagination to be able to determine such things. I'm here to tell you that the vehicle of imagination is a very powerful vehicle, friend. Imagination can serve you or it can hinder you. It can make the sun come out tomorrow based upon truth, or it can allow the clouds to darken even worse. It's all imagination. And imagination is at its most powerful when it's tempered by truth. It is the truth of your experiences that form the imaginations. It's the truth of your intentions, the spirits that you use to form your experiences that form your imaginations. I'm here to tell you. I wrote some things down about imagination that I Googled. Imagination, advanced cognitive capacity to form mental images. Advanced cognitive capacity, advanced brain capacity to form mental images, sensations, or concepts of things that aren't currently perceived by senses. The ability to use your mind at a heightened level to create images, scenarios, feelings, or ideas that aren't currently happening within your physical reach. That's what imagination does. It allows the manipulation of memories and knowledge to create new ideas, simulate future scenarios, and understand different perspectives. So what it's saying is that imagination pulls from source material that you've already experienced and gathered, and that are already resting within the library of content in your mind. Whatever kind of garden you have cultivated in your mind is what imagination will pull from to forecast out a better thing, to pull you out of your now into your next. Yet if you only have content without love and truth, what will it pull? What can imagination pull? How can just stuff sustain you? When trouble comes, when doubt festers, what is going to soothe your spirit when these spirits come upon you? If you don't have love in the form of spiritual love, God is love. If you've only investigated God on a theoretical level and you haven't tested it and you have not danced with God, you've only researched God's attributes and you've not fallen in love with the essence of God, it hasn't manifested in your life. There's nothing in the library of content that you have within the vaults of your mind that show that you and God, you and this essence that you have been so fascinated with are actually one. Then these things that come upon you to somewhat test you can and will overpower you. They will make you bend to them. You will bow down and beg them. I cannot say this enough. God has been speaking this to me since I've come forward. They will make you bow down and beg them for mercy. Yet when you align properly and you stand in truth and in righteousness, you allow your own self to follow your heart. You begin to accrue spiritual currency in that same library of content. It's no longer content. It's currency. You will have extreme amounts of content, knowledge. But you will also have hefty levels of currency. Spiritual currency. Bankable currency. Universal currency that works in any system, because every system is God's system. I'm here to tell you, this imaginative aspect is the aspect of spirituality. It is the vehicle in which we all navigate the world of spirit. It's through the imagination. Your senses need your imagination. Your level of discernment is a high frequency, a fine-tuned aspect of your imagination. The ability to tap into high levels of spiritual knowledge and power is imagination driven. What we find in life as you progress in life is that on this spiritual path is that your strongest battles in life will be against the ghosts of other people's imaginations and your own. You will be waging war against other people's imaginations. And you will also, if unevolved, new to this particular mindset, will wage war with your own imaginations as well. You will need to go into the library of your own mind to clean out your own internal system, to slay the demons that you've allowed into your own system and create order within your own kingdom before you can never go out and slay anything outside of that. Before you can wage war with another in spirit, you've got to fortify your own kingdom. And that is doing away with all of the unnecessary spirits and the unnecessary vibrations that you have allowed to dominate your kingdom for so long out of ignorance. Fine-tuning what comes into your kingdom. And being able to, even though you are enamored by a number of stimulus, distinguish what stimulus stays and what doesn't. What stays at the gate and what you allow in. Many people say, oh, you scroll social media, you're wasting time on social media and this and that. And I have to disagree. I listen to what people say. I've learned in my life it is better to listen. I love to listen. I watch. I am a voyeur. Because you tell me a lot by what I hear you say and what you believe. Most times we believe things because it's been spoken so many times that it just makes sense without questioning it. You can scroll social media all day, friend, and use that as a spiritual workout regimen to strengthen your ability in leaving what is unnecessary at the gate and being particular as to what comes in. Shying away from a thing because you're afraid of it, because you're afraid of your own self being able to contend against it, does nothing but weaken you. The enemy knows this. The enemy will watch you and say, oh, she shies away or he shies away from that. Oh, they're weak in that area. Let's send them that. You are to be able to contend at every angle. Social media is no different. If I scroll social media all day long and I am not capable of allowing or disallowing something to come into my kingdom, by mere fact that I heard it, what does that say? You've got to build yourself up on truth. This is the times we're living in, y'all. We're living in some real times. And it's no longer training wheels. We see that showing in the world as we know it. All of the systems that allowed us training wheels are gone. People are showing you truths of themselves regardless of if you want to hear it or not. They don't care. It used to be a time where people wouldn't say certain things. They would just hide it and then go and say it amongst their friends. Now they say it openly. And you've got to be tough enough to be able to withstand it and face it and extract from them or it what you need and leave the rest there. Would you have it any other way? Would you rather someone act and lie to you just so that you can feel better about them? Or would you rather them show you exactly who they are? And be able to deal with that face on. Without any level of judgment. Because a lot of times the things that we judge each other for, we're doing the same stuff. We just hide it. Or we do it differently. Your imagination is your superpower. When I said that the strongest battles that you'll have in life are the battles against the ghosts of either your imaginations or the imaginations of other people, I mean that. That's a fact. When you look at the spiritual warfare that goes on in spirit, you're looking at the battle between imaginations at its finest. You're literally looking at one person's imagination against another's. When the enemy attacks you with an imagination, do you have a wide array of imaginative artillery to respond effectively within your reach? Or do you have to wait and then go and create that? Because that's ridiculous if you think that that's a viable response. It doesn't work that way. The battle would have been lost by you. And then you'll have to come and be the one to start a new battle and begin again with that. Yeah. It's kind of like having a physical fight with someone. And an enemy comes upon you and attacks you. And you just allow them to beat you down. And you go home and you start taking boxing classes. It's going to take you a while to learn how to box. And by the time you figure it out and get big and strong in that, you're going to look like an instigator coming back to this person trying to fight them. Because they've gone on doing something else. And if they dominated you, they've dominated you and siphoned everything that they needed from you. You've taken a major L and you're in shambles. This is what I mean by building your own internal kingdom up. Before you ever think to go and contend against anyone else, you've got to have your stuff together. Not because of the threat of someone coming upon you, but because of that. But not because of the natural effects that God sends upon us to allow us to go within and to see what areas in our lives need that we need to become more effective in, but because of that. All of these things are activities that life shows us that lead us to where we need to focus our attention in, if we pay attention. But what we most often do is we don't do these things. We hire people to do them. Or I'm going to call this person to do this for me. Or I need this person to pray for me. Or I'm going to go partner with this person so that I feel strong in myself. When God is showing you and life is showing you firsthand exactly where the power is and how you can utilize the power on your own without depending on anyone, friend. It's you and you. There will be no one that you can depend on. No one. And all of your artillery, all of the information you gather from yourself to get you through the hard things of life by way of your imagination. All of your imaginings, let's just call them that you use to get through the hard things in life. All of your imaginings that you use to wage war with the ghosts or the unseen forces of other people's imaginings must be tempered with truth and love. They must be. Or else they hold no power. You just got a bunch of stuff. You just know a lot of stuff. But none of that stuff will hold you when the clouds cover the sky with an ominous tone. They will not be able to hold you when the ghosts or the unseen forces of other people's imaginings come upon you to get beyond your gate and to eat your food or to overcome your kingdom. They won't be able to do anything for you. They will have no power. You will reach for them and you will not feel any power from them. You will reach from another, and they will not be able to contend. They will be just like reaching in the wind. They won't have any type of force to them because they're not truthful. They're not aligned to any kind of power. The realest power you will have in this life is the power you get from God. It is the most formidable force that you can ever align to. But it comes with requirements. You just can't partake of it as you wish. It comes with a set of distinctive requirements. Goes back to what I said about that yacht. When you see yourself worthy of such luxury, as if it must follow you in all of your walks in life, not you following it, you don't have to chase that. You could be the person at a coffee shop with the least amount of money, and nobody would know. Not because you're acting as if you're like those people that are, I guess that was a bad analogy. You could be in an environment of people with yachts, like I showed on my Instagram. And you could have $1.35 in your bank account. It could be negative $1.35. And that could be consistent for you for a year or two. That season of your life. And no one would ever know it. Because your vibration is at that level. You're not following the material. It follows you. You're not reaching to be that. You're not trying to do that. You're not trying to be that. You are that. It is you. It's the same way in spirit. If you are that in the physical reality and it is you, then that speaks volumes to what you are in spirit. Because there is a level of ascension that is required for that. It takes lifetimes, friend. A lot of times of you coming and going and building. You can't get that in one lifetime. It's not enough time. It's the same way with your imagination. It's the same way. I'm here to tell you the subconscious mind is so vast that it holds within it imaginings of lifetimes that are able to be captured and that are able to flower out at pivotal times. They will even surprise you, the owner of such. Aligning to power and being able to know what is important and what is not gives you an advantage. It makes sense of your path. It lightens the load. I'm here to tell you, it lightens the load. Good evening, Food Report. It lightens the load. I wanted to come on and use this as an analogy to you today because it was so pivotal for me yesterday when I saw these clouds. And then this morning, I was thinking of imaginations and how our imagination is a vehicle that fuels us in this life. We are constantly imagining, even right now, the imaginations of yesterday are unfolding in our todays. It is our imaginations that create our tomorrows. Yet all of us are standing in the dynamic aspect of yesterday's imaginations unfolding. All of us in our now. It's very brilliant. I wrote, we are either actively creating through imagination or standing in the result of it. We are either actively creating through imagination or standing in the result of it. Make your imagination serve you. Imagine only things that you want in your life. I know it's a very difficult task, but it comes with managing your kingdom. It's difficult to manage your kingdom, but it's your kingdom. And either you're going to manage it or it's going to manage you, or someone will come upon you and steal your kingdom from you and make you a slave to them while in your own kingdom. This is my word for you today. You'll have more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another.